Coming at you live, coming at you live. It is your boy Skillz with installment number 5. Live and 5 rhyme, don't they? We're coming at you with installment number 5 of Skillz on Cardz, where I review 2023 Topps Baseball. The complete set, along with the update series, Pile 5, will give us card numbers 101 through 125. I don't know who they are. We're going to find out together. We're going to have fun. Hopefully, I will make you learn something, maybe even laugh if I'm at the top of my game. So stay tuned. Skillz on Cardz. Tyler Mahle is card number 101, and he's one of the guys who I always have to kind of pause and remind myself which one is Tyler Mahle and which one is Luke Mahle. I believe is how the catcher's name is pronounced. Luke Mahle. He used to be with I think it was this I forgot. I'm blanking right now, but he's still around. He's still in baseball. Tyler Mahle, of course, is the former Red starting pitcher. Let's see what it says on the reverse. He's a Twin now, but he was a Red, as I mentioned. Had some good years up in Cincinnati, or at least a couple of them. He was 13-6 in 2021 with a nice sub-4 ERA. Blurb says the contending Twins added a significant cog to their rotation by dealing for Tyler last August. He made a scoreless 9-inning start in June. Probably didn't get the complete game credit for it because of extra innings, I'm willing to bet. And then fired 6 blanks in his second Minnesota start. So, as you can see, Mahle's got some capability. He's only not even 30 years old yet, so look for more of success from him to come. Card number 102 is the great Salvador Perez, longtime Kansas City Royals catcher, world champion, home run derby contestant in 2021. And this is a guy who, under your radar, without you even realizing it, he's put together what could be a Hall of Fame career. He has done a lot of great things. He's won Gold Gloves. He's pretty much done it all except been an MVP. He's got the numbers on the back. He was a co-home run champ in 2021 when he hit 48. I think that was the year he tied with, was it Ohtani? He must have tied with Ohtani that year. Also led the league in RBI, which is never done by a catcher. Look at all the career home runs, 223. He could get to 300 before it's all said and done. Although Perez is getting up there, he's 35, or actually he's going to be 34 this year in May. No blurb, so I'm going to tell you that, yeah, when he was in that 21 Derby, I was blown away because he's been how are you front row, under the radar and over the radar at the same time for as long as he has been. Perez, I just didn't think of him as a guy who could hit that many home runs, but boy, did he prove me and the whole country wrong. Card number 103. That brings us to the Angels outfielder Taylor Ward, and as you can see on the front of the card, it still says Angels. There will be no Los Angeles Angels probably ever again on the Topps card until maybe when Artie Moreno sells the team and the new owners come in. They'll make a change back to something like Los Angeles Angels to where all these cards can be uniform. You see Ward here, the classic Angels look they've rocked for the last 20 years. Ward's been a starter for a little while now. He's been putting up some decent numbers for the Angels. 21 home runs, 65 RBI in 2022. Blurb says, an all-star at 3 minor league classifications. Taylor figured it out at the big league level in 2022. In a span of 19 days, he became the first player since Lou Gehrig. Anytime you're the first player since Lou Gehrig, you're doing something. Because that guy was freaking boss. To have 2 games of at least 3 hits, 2 extra base hits, a walk, and a grand slam in the same season. That's hard to believe. It doesn't seem like that uncommon of a feat to pull off, but Taylor Ward apparently is right up there with the Iron Horse. A walk-off homer and an AL Player of the Week award were other high points. So Taylor Ward, one of the few bright spots on an Angel team that perennially underachieves and is just stuck in a rut of mediocrity and has been for years now. Card number 104, speaking of underachieving, this guy here has been a Brewers supposed savior / phenom / waiting in the wings / all-star on hold. Keston Hiura, second baseman, he just has not consistently been the guy that everyone thought he would be for Milwaukee. He's had his flashes of moments. He's had his periods where he's been solid, but as you can see overall, a career .238 batting average, and that's after batting .303 as a rookie and steadily gone downhill ever since. Although you can see he's got some pop, double-digit home runs in 3 of his 4 seasons. And the blurb says, rediscovering his hitting mojo as the 2022 season progressed, Keston belted multi-run walk-off homers in May and August. So I'm guessing one was a 2-run, one was a 3-run. I doubt if he had a walk-off grand slam, I wouldn't know about it, but hey, I could be wrong. And his batting average, and hoisted his batting average well beyond the prior years. In doing so, Hiura reinserted himself back to Milwaukee's long-term plans. Well, actually, no, he didn't. A status long staked out in 2018 when his .836 OPS ranked 4th among NL rookies. Hiura's kind of like in flux right now. I think he even lost his 40-man roster spot this past year in 2023. I'll have that for you in the notes. These things happen. Guys just do not live up to the hype. Not for very long. We had a guy like that in San Francisco, Joe Panik, who was great as a rookie, just steadily declined. And excuse me, audience, I am battling sniffles, so I'm trying not to make too much flimmy, snotty noises. But if I do, please forgive me and don't tune out. I promise I'll be good about it. This is card number 105. This is Seth Beer, and too bad we have long passed the era when Robbie Wine caught for the Astros. Or Phil Koch pitched for the Tigers. Seth Beer, ha ha ha, insert your Budweiser joke. He's a power hitting outfielder for the Diamondbacks. He can play. He's a good player. He's a good young player coming up now. This is going to be, 2023 was his his third run in the major leagues. The guy had 16 home runs for Reno in 2021, 14 for Reno in 2022. That hasn't translated power-wise to the major league level yet, but sometimes you just gotta wait for these guys to muscle out. And I was tempted to say roid up, but I'm just not gonna do that. Not to Seth, not to anybody. Former Astro draft pick acquired in a trade in July of 19. Offhand, do I know who that was for? I'm willing to bet it's for Chad Qualls or some other relief pitcher. Blurb has us with, it was coincidentally National Beer Day when versus San Diego on April 7th, 2022. Seth became the first rookie in history to hit a comfort behind walk-off home run in his team's initial game of the season, which is one of those things where you just, I don't know if that's true or not, but it's certainly a nice feat. It's certainly something that's going to look good on your resume if you're trying to win a job somewhere. Seth Beer, an opening day hero, not Carl Rhodes level, but still nothing to sneeze at. Card number 106, Willy Adames, the former Ray turned Brewer a couple years ago, sporting number 27 like Carlos Gomez once did in Milwaukee. Willy Adames, very good player, a lot of energy, a lot of fire, shortstop for the Milwaukee Brewers. Blurb says, the impressively buoyant Adames combines personality, power, and defensive brilliance like few others. I almost like I said two others. One scouting director had dubbed him the Pied Piper, which I was also dubbed once upon a time by my mother because of children loving me, because everyone wanted to be like Willie. Well, Willie is, he looks like a fun guy. He's done a lot of good things in the league. 3 20 home run seasons. I did not know he had 31 homers in 2022. I did not know he was that powerful with his bat that year. See, this is why I do this, because I'm learning along with you, the audience. Willy Adames speaking loudly and swinging a big stick. Card number 107. Now, if you don't know about Sandy Alcantara, you're not alone. He's been a Cy Young contender for many of the past few years. He actually won. I believe, was it 2022 he won? We'll find out in just a moment here. Alcantara is he's one of my favorites because he throws complete games. He goes 9 innings. He's allowed to go 9 innings. Now, he's on the shelf right now. He had surgery in 2023 because he was about to have another 200-inning season, but it got cut short. Alcantara, yeah, this looks like this must have been a Cy Young year. 14-9 for the 2022 Marlins. As you can see, 2 straight years with 200 innings, which is rare. He would have had 3 this past year had he not gotten hurt. A couple years with double-digit 200-plus Ks. Surprisingly, has not led the league in anything. I want to bet that might be a printing error by Toss. I'm going to double-check and make sure Alcantara didn't lead the league in something. Well, I know he led in complete games, which they no longer print on the back of Topps cards. Blurb says Sandy was the epitome of an ace in 2022 by both performance and sturdiness. His 13-start streak of getting his team to the 8th inning tied for Miami's second longest ever behind Kevin Brown's 16 in 1996. Kevin Brown's an interesting case too. I hope one day I get to talk about him and Skillz on Cardz, because he goes in my Skillz Savage plate of greatness, which is going to replace the Baseball Hall of Fame one day, if I get my say, and I usually do get my say, unless it's about anything I'm asking for. Card number 108, Giants ace, another former Tampa Bay Ray, Alex Cobb, probably best known to the common fan as being hit in the head with a line drive a few years ago, but he recovered nicely from that. He's had a good career, although he's battled injuries off and on throughout. He's got that long that long left leg kick that he raises his leg way up and straightens it out as he pitches. Cobb with a nasty split changeup, this is blurred now, having weathered injuries that deprived him of essentially 3 full seasons. Alex is back on the top of his game as a soft contact inducer. His favorite pitch, the splitter, which your boy mentioned, was up more than 2 miles an hour in 2022. So Alex Cobb, no relation to Ty, also spent some time with the Orioles and the Angels. Alex Cobb been a vital member, signing with the Giants a couple years ago. The last 2 years, he's been a vital member of our unreliable rotation. Card number 109 is the longtime Milwaukee Brewer Eric Lauer. He's now a former Brewer, unfortunately. He was let go after the 23 season, I believe it was. Could have been after the 22 season, I got to double check. But Eric Lauer spent years in Milwaukee, never really as a workhorse or anything like that, but always just one of those guys who just, if you need him to start, he'll start. If you need him to long relieve, he'll long relieve. One of those guys, and he did it well for a number of years in Milwaukee. 5 pitches compromise Eric's repertoire with the fastball and slider, his bread and butter offerings. This is the blurb now. His 93-mile-an-hour heater plays up because of the carry generated by its high speed. Okay, you lost me, Tops. You start talking about science, you lose me. I'm not a dumb guy, but I'm not a freaking genius either. This kind of stuff bores me. Let's get past all that stuff and go to the last line, which says Lauer found 11 in his next time out. Okay, that's a good thing. I can relate to that. I can relate to striking out 11 batters. I can't relate to clouds and spin rate and carry and all that stuff. Lauer, I'll tell you who he's with in 2023 as soon as I get to my notes. The notes portion of this video, which comes after we present everything else. And now we have card number 110 of 2023 Topps Baseball. The great Randall Grichuk, best known for his time with the Cardinals and later on the Blue Jays. Underrated player. The underrated player Randall Grichuk, and look at that. That's got to be the Rockies. What do they call it? I'm blanking on it. City Connect. That's the City Connect uniform that the Rockies have to be wearing, because we have never seen green at Coors Field by the home team. And if it were up to me, we never would again, because that's just not an attractive uniform. Grichuk, of course, 4 years with the Cardinals, 4 years with the Blue Jays, came to the Rockies in the 21-22 offseason. Blurb says with 4 singles and a 3-run homer in a 16-5 clubbing of his former Cardinals team on August 9th, 2022, Randall delivered Colorado's first 5-hit game since won by Nolan Arenado more than 5 years before. So that's good company. Randall Grichuk doing something that no one had did for the Rockies since Nolan, which is pretty hard to do since hitting in Coors Field is like hitting in a small closet. Card number 111. I didn't know much about this guy before 2023 when he kind of got his first real full-time extended job with the Astros in their rotation, filling in for some of the guys who weren't healthy. And that's Hunter Brown. Hunter Brown, as I mentioned, Houston Astro, second-year player in 2023. But in 2022, he was a rookie. He got in 7 games with the Astros, 2-0, struck out 22 in 30 innings with that beautiful, sparkling 0.89 ERA. Blurb says helium is the word prospect evaluators use to describe an especially fast riser. There's probably no greater example in 2022 than Hunter. His previous minor league stats were unremarkable, but Brown dominated AAA before excelling in Houston's September rotation. His 93-mile-an-hour plus slider man, that's a hard slider, boy. I tell you, immediately jumped to the top of the MLB velocity chart because Hunter Brown is going to be an Astro for the foreseeable future. He's only 25 years old, entering the 24th season, and you're going to have him, and you're going to have old man Verlander. You're going to have, hopefully they get Garcia and Urquidy all back healthy at some point during the year, and Christian Javier's there too. That's Hunter Brown. We're keeping it moving along here. Card number 112, the Baltimore Orioles team card, and this might be the most prominent that a team card has ever been labeled a team card in Topps baseball. You can see those giant letters, that giant font right there next to the classic Orioles bird symbol. That is Anthony Santander, number 25, facing with his back to the camera. Not Rafael Palmeiro, not Bobby Bonilla, or any other notable Baltimore Orioles of the recent past. As you can see, the Orioles were surprised in 2023, but in 2022 they were laying that groundwork, going 83-79 in the tough American League East, 45-36 at Camden Yards, where I have been. I've been to Camden Yards. I live in the San Francisco Bay Area, if you didn't know, but I traveled across the country about 14 years ago and spent some time in both that park and in Nationals Park, and they're both sterling. At least they were in 2010. League leaders or team leaders for the Orioles in 22 were Cedric Mullins, not no surprise there. Anthony Santander getting it done with the power. Jordan Lyles should never be your wins leader, no disrespect, but no. And Austin Hayes had the longest home run, which Topps, of course, doesn't tell us the distance of. I'll try to have that for you in my notes. Blurb says, although their quest for the postseason fell just short, the 22 Orioles were a feel-good story. A team that was 190 games under 500 the previous 4 years, became the first since 1899, so I don't know if that even really counts, but okay, to win at least 83 contests in a season following 110 losses. Rookie Adley Rutschman was voted club MVP. Jorge Mateo, Cedric Mullins were the top two AL base stealers, and the staff ERA dipped from 5.84 to 3.97. Good God, 5.80. That's hard to do for a full season. 5.84. Wow. But they were that bad. I don't know why I'm acting like I'm surprised, because we know the Orioles just did not get it done on the mound that year. So 2023 Topps card number 113 is a combination of Dodgers in a dugout. This must be one of the checklist cards. So I'm going to have to go in close here and see what we have here. That's too close. Dodgers postseason. Dodgers core stays loose pregame. Star power. And we'll go to the blurb now. We'll go to the reverse, I should say, where it is a checklist that we see guys like Juan Soto, who we did. That was card number 1. We've already done all these cards in Skillz on Cards. 5 of the game's best share a laugh. And those 5 are, I recognize Mookie Betts, and offhand, they're Dodgers. I'm not going to look at their faces. Okay, so that's a checklist card. Checklists, of course, were absent from Topps for many years until making their return around I think it was 2010 that they first made their return as on Commons, maybe the year before. In any event, card number 114, Skillz on Cards 2023 Topps. Card number 114 is Ian Anderson of the Atlanta Braves, a young guy who won a lot of games that year, a young guy who looked like he might even walk away with the Cy Young Award, did not. He made 22 appearances for the Braves, was 10-6, had a 5 ERA. Who am I getting Ian Anderson confused with? I think I'm confusing him with. I'm confusing him with Kyle Wright. My mistake. Ian Anderson did not contend for a Cy Young in that season or any other season. I'm thinking of Kyle Wright. Major and minor league pitching record. Nothing really jumps off the page at you, but he certainly is going to get every opportunity to stay with Atlanta for the next foreseeable future. He's still pretty young, 25 in May, and he throws hard. So Ian Anderson, one of the few Ians besides Kinsler, maybe the only Ian besides Kinsler in my card collecting era. And many of Ian Anderson's starts were finished off by card number 115, or at least followed by card number 115 subject Raciel Iglesias. No known relation to Jose. No known relation to Who's the guy that was in Cincinnati? Oh, that was Raciel. Oh, okay. So Raciel, longtime Red, as I just kind of hinted at, and then we also have a couple years with the Angels. Moving on to the Braves in 2022, who was the closer for the Angels before being traded. And he also has closed for the Reds at times. He's also the closer for the Angels in 2021, which I could not have told you if you had a missile pointed at my eardrum. I completely forgot about Iglesias' time with the Angels, and even if I hadn't, I would not have guessed he had 34 opportunities to save a game that year. The blurb says, at the time Raciel joined the Braves, his 196 saves in the 7 calendar years from August 1st, 2016 to July 31st, 2022 were more than all but Kenley Jansen and Edwin Diaz. So, what they're trying to tell you is that Raciel Iglesias has put down the clamps in the 9th inning for a long time now, with barely anyone noticing, and that includes me, apparently, since I couldn't remember who he was at first. Now this guy here, we have card number 116, and he was one of the biggest, most talked about guys in early 2022. If remember how much Akil Baddoo was talked about in 2021 to start out, well, Stephen Kwan followed that up for the Guardians in 2022. He was a sensation right from the start. As you can see, he's got the trophy, which I guess Topps would just keep that trophy forever. They briefly changed it in 2010, if you recall. They changed the trophy to a different look, and then they went back to the one they've been using since '94, and they still use today. So Stephen Kwan, outfielder for the Guardians. As you can see here, well, we'll go to the reverse, and he's got 6 home runs, 52 RBI, 19 steals. As a rookie, hit .298. Blurb says, the antithesis of what is usually seen as in the launch angle generation, Stephen is an extreme and extremely effective contact hitter. After making the team by batting .469 in 2022 spring training, he saw the first 116 pitches of his career without swinging and missing one. If I saw that many major league pitches, 116 pitches, I'm going to swing and miss at probably 140 of them. For me, he says, see ball, hit ball is the best way to approach hitting. Well, it worked for Sammy Sosa, so if it's good enough for Slam and Sammy, it's good enough for Steven. No relation to Michelle Kwan. Card number 117. Card number 117 in 2023 Topps is one of Kwan's teammates, Emmanuel Clace, relief pitcher for the Guardians. As you can see here, he's fired up about something. I'm assuming this is after getting the final out, or at least a very big out in a key situation. Emmanuel Clace got 42 saves to lead the league in 2022, appeared in the league high-tying 77 games, .73 whip, 136 ERA. Basically, he was dominant as dominant gets. Featuring command, blurb says, of a fastball and cutter that both average 99 miles an hour plus, Emmanuel takes the nasty to another level. He recorded a save with 3 strikeouts on 10 pitches in the 2022 Major League Baseball All-Star Game. So, he is not the largest guy in the world, but man, does he bring it, and man, has he been effective for the Guardians. Although, if I remember correctly, he slipped a little in 23. We'll have those numbers for you in the notes. Card number 118, 2023 Topps is Eduardo Escobar. Escobar. I've got this weird thing where whenever I say Escobar, I've got to say it as if I'm some sort of troublemaker, or I'm seeking to get in touch with a troublemaker named Escobar. You will not get away with this, Escobar. Longtime Minnesota Twin, infielder, third baseman mostly, moved on to the Diamondbacks for a few years. Steady as they come. As you can see, he had a big year in 2019 with 35 home runs. He's had another few 20 home run seasons. Eduardo Escobar generating a lot of power from that small body. Getting up there in age, though. He's 35 now, and I don't know who he's with for 2024. I'm sure he's with somebody, or at least he's aiming to be. As a Met in 2022, 20 home runs, 69 RBI, 240 average in 136 games. Eduardo Escobar, somebody my Giants could use, but somebody my Giants will probably never have. At least not until he's 40 years old and able to contribute anymore. Oscar Gonzalez represents card number 119. Oscar Gonzalez is not a guy I know a ton about. He's not been around for a very long time, but he's got some skills. He can do some these. I do know that. He got in 91 games for the 22 Guardians, 11 homers, 43 RBI, 296 average. This blurb, these letters are too small for me to try reading. at this late hour, but I will tell you it says something about SpongeBob, so I'm assuming that Oscar Gonzalez is a big SpongeBob fan and channels Patrick Star whenever he takes the field. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. All complaints can be sent to skillsavage247@gmail.com. Card number 120. This is a guy who in 2023 had a rough go of it, but for a while there, a couple years ago, he was kind of boss. Patrick Wisdom, third baseman for the Cubs, took over third base permanently once Chris Bryant was moved out of town, and in 2021 had a big year, 28 home runs in just 106 games, 25 more in 2022, although the league kind of started to figure him out a little bit. I know this past year he had something like 111K in like 270 at bats, something like that. So it was a rough go for Patrick, even though he was still hitting for power. Blurb says, for a player whose major league action was negligible until he neared his 30th birthday, Patrick has raked with extraordinary power. Between his Cubs debut of September 25th, 2020 and August 19th, 2022, he played the second fewest games of the 11 senior circuit players, that's National League for those of you who don't know lingo, to hit 50 home runs. Last May, Wisdom went yard in 4 straight contests, so Patrick Wisdom swings a big stick. Unfortunately, too many times he swings and misses. We're entering our last 5 cards of Pile 5 of 2023 Topps Baseball. Rockabye baby on the treetop. It's Luis Garcia, card number 121. Houston Astros with the very unique delivery where he looks like he's rocking the baby back and forth. Garcia had some injuries this past 2023 season, but before that he was pretty effective, helped him win that World Series under Dusty Baker, was 15-8 with a 3.72 ERA in 2022 after an 11-8 season the year before. Garcia, big burly guy. Blurb says his immaculate second inning in Texas on June 15th, 2022 began a string of 5 strikeouts in a row. In the 7th, Phil Maton made the Astros, I bet I'm pronouncing that wrong too, the first team with 2 immaculate frames in the same game. And I remember how excited I was when I had an immaculate inning in MLB The Show. So if I had that much excitement over a video game, I imagine Garcia was probably through the moon. And whoever the other guy was. Card number 122, Jonathan Daza. He's on the Rockies. He's got that City Connect uniform on, wearing number 2. He is an outfielder. He is not a guy I know a ton about. I've seen him get a couple big hits against my Giants in recent years. Longtime minor leaguer, as we see on the reverse. Born in '94, about to turn 30 later this month. He's been with the Colorado Rockies for parts of the last 3 seasons, excluding the COVID season of 2020. In 2022, he had 2 home runs, 34 RBI with a 301 average in 113 games. So he can hit for average. He's a good contact type guy, looks like, and he also can draw a walk. And we have no blurb here, so we're going to move on from Jonathan Daza. On the card number 123, Skillz on Cards, 2023 Topps, we have the great Zach Davies. He's a guy who's just had one of those careers where he just yo-yos. You never know which one. He oscillates. He goes from one end of the scope to the other end of the scope, and you can never really be sure which one of him you're going to get in any given year. 2022 was one of the years where he was on the kind of like in the center, bringing up the mean with a 4.09 ERA in 27 games. He's had 10-7 seasons. He had a 17-win season for the Brewers in 2017, and he was 6-12 with a 5.78 ERA as recently as 2021. So as I said, that pendulum swings for Zach. Blurb says he is a changeup artist who specializes in soft contact. Guys like him are gonna kind of have this kind of Jamie Moyer type success is rare. You're gonna just kind of, you live and die by the changeup, live and die by the slow roller and the slow ball. That if that slow ball hangs, it's gonna go a long way, and that's what happens to Zach Davies a lot of the time. As I veer off track from the blurb, career highlights include a 17-win season, as I mentioned, a start in a combo no-hitter in 21, and 5 no-earned run starts in the span of 13 last year. So Zach Davies, flashing ability, still not a guy who I would count on for more than a fill-in stretch in my rotation. card number 124. I know what it says on the card. I also know that I'm not going to address him by a name just because his mommy says that's what she wants us to do. This is Nate Lowe. He was Nate Lowe from his beginning of his major league career all the way until I believe it was the early 22 or so when it came out that mommy wanted him called Nathaniel, and he didn't object. So, that's between those two. I just tell you, I'm calling him Nate. And if Nate doesn't like it, he can take that giant bat he's holding and club me over the head. 2022 season with the Texas Rangers, Lowe had 27 home runs, 76 RBI, and a 302 average. I did not know he was that effective for the Rangers. I knew he had a good year. I didn't know it was that good. Blurb says he made a case for being the most improved hitter in the majors last season, including in the surge was a 22-game on-base streak and an AL Player of the Week award. Interestingly enough, Lowe endured an early 13 for 88 stretch, but his batting average through August, exclusive of that, was a scorching 336 with 21 homers and 63 ribbies in 99 games. So, Nate Lowe average went up. And then we will close out 2023 Topps Baseball Pile 5 Skills on Cards with a controversial figure, former Marlin, former Cardinal, current Brave Marcell Ozuna, who of course missed a big chunk. I believe that was 2021. He missed a big chunk of due to a suspension for not being so nice to his wife. Topps doesn't always give those kind of guys attention in their sets going forward. I know that was the case with Odubel Herrera, but Ozuna is getting a chance to redo his image as a player and as a card subject with the Topps company. 2020, he was the league leader with 18 homers and 56 RBI in the COVID season. Hit 338 that year, so he damn near pulled off a triple crown. I gotta find out who was ahead of him that year. Of course, his average has dropped the last 2 years as he's struggled to find that point he was at before his legal problems. Blurb says Marcell in 2020 was the first Braves player to lead the NL in homers and ribbies since Andrew Jones in 2005. He ranked among the top 10% in the loop in barrel percentage much of last season. I don't give a crap about barrel. When I think barrel, I think Donkey Kong when I think of barrels, not freaking Major League Baseball. But I digress. I'm going to say that rant for one of my blogs. You didn't come here to hear that. You came here to watch Skills on Cards, and that's what you got. Skills on Cards. We just presented cards number 101 through 125 of 2023 Topps. I hope to bring you pile 6, which will be the next 25 cards in the set, numbered from 126 to 150 in the next week or two. I hope you enjoyed this a little bit. And for all of you out there, including Emmanuel Classe, whose name I freaking mispronounced, forgive me, and I'm only a human being. See you next time.